Welcome to the CBG show. The date is November the 4th, 2014, and as always, I'm Chris Brutlinger-Grant.
And I'm Amar Khan.
Here we go. It breaks my heart. It really does. Tom Brady and his Patriots beat Peyton Manning and the Broncos 43-21.
Chris is going to start crying. I know it. So I'm going to tell you the details about this one. Brady threw for 4 touchdowns and an interception to go along with 333 passing yards. Rob Gronkowski had himself another big game, racking up 105 yards and a touchdown.
Denver lost despite getting 438 yards through the air from Peyton Manning. He threw 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions as well. New England is now a very impressive 7-2 and have won 5 straight games. Denver fell to 6-2, but are still very much in control of the AFC West standings.
The Indianapolis Colts absolutely demolished the New York Football Giants on Monday night, 40-24. The score doesn't really do the game justice. New York trailed 37-10 entering the fourth quarter. 2012 first overall pick and Stanford product Andrew Luck threw for 354 yards and 4 touchdowns. This was his 7th consecutive game in which he's thrown for over 300 yards. Oh my Lanta.
Rookie Odell Beckham Jr. put up a nice stat line for the Giants, recording 156 receiving yards on 8 receptions. The Giants haven't looked that great so far this year under Ben McAdoo's new system as offensive coordinator. The Giants have some nice pieces on offense, but we'll have to wait and see if Eli Manning can click with him and put up enough points to win big games down the stretch. And now, something to fire up the troops. Eli Manning. Eli Manning. Eli Manning.
Now, moving on. Ben Roethlisberger set an NFL record Sunday when he threw for 6 touchdowns. Yeah, 6 for the 2nd consecutive game. Usually games between the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers are tough, ground and pound style games. But Big Ben took control and threw for 340 yards and, of course, those 6 touchdowns. The Steelers topped their division rivals 43-23 and improved their record to 6-3.
In college football action, my beloved Ohio State Buckeyes will look for a matter of revenge this weekend when we take on the Michigan State Spartans in East Lansing. The game will be a rematch of last year's Big Ten championship game. Because I just love remembering these things, Michigan State won 34-24. Both teams come into this one with a loss apiece. The winner will have a decent chance of making it into the college football playoff this year, while the loser's chances of being there will virtually disappear.
Now, hockey things. The NHL named their 3 stars for the month of October, and all of them were Canadians.
Woo!
In the number 1 slot is Anaheim Ducks winger Corey Perry, who finished the month with 14 points in just 10 games. Perry also recorded 2 hat-tricks in October, en route to scoring 10 goals in the month.
Number 2 is Pittsburgh Penguins captain Sidney Crosby, who registered 15 points in 9 games to tie for the league lead in points. Number 3 is the guy who's tied with him, Dallas Stars forward Tyler Seguin. Since coming to the Stars, Seguin has become a point-per-game player. He was my first-round pick in fantasy hockey this year, a decision for which I was chirped mightily.
Our game of the weekend took place at the Verizon Center when the Washington Capitals hosted the Arizona Coyotes. Both teams have struggled to get going this year, but boy oh boy did we get a treat this Halloween weekend. Despite a power play goal from Antoine Vermette in the first, the Yotes were down 3-1 at the end of 1. The second was all Arizona as they scored twice to tie the game going into the third.
The Coyotes scored 3 unanswered goals from there to jump out to a 6-3 lead. After a Joel Ward power play goal, the Caps struck quickly after as Ovechkin missed the net and the puck landed on Troy Brouwer's stick, who scored into the yawning cage. That was as close as the Caps got, though, as Devin Dubnyk shut the door from there. In the loss, Alexander Ovechkin tied Peter Bondra's franchise record with 825 points.
Still not used to calling the Phoenix Coyotes the Arizona Coyotes.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same ring. But some of the most exciting players to watch this season, who don't have quite the big name, have been Nashville Predators rookie Filip Forsberg, who was in on every point as the Preds beat the Vancouver Canucks on Sunday at Rogers Arena. Forsberg was up against the top pair of Dan Hamhuis and Alex Edler, but could not be contained. Forsberg, who was traded by the Washington Capitals for Martin Erat. Funny side note, After playing 5 games in the NHL during the shortened season, Preds management asked him to go play for the AHL affiliate Milwaukee Admirals to kind of learn the American game. But instead of that, he went back to Sweden to go graduate high school. I just found out Filip Forsberg is the same age as me and making $900,000 more.
Another young star flying under the radar for many is Calgary Flames forward Johnny Gaudreau, or now known as Johnny Hockey. Gaudreau has 5 points in his last 3 games and is settling into a nice role in Calgary's top 6. Last but definitely not least is St. Louis Blues forward Vladimir Tarasenko. We feel he's due for a breakout year as he leads the Blues in scoring. Tarasenko scored a goal for the ages against the New York Rangers after he carved up the entire team's defense core on Monday. He also scored the shootout-winning goal against backup Cam Talbot.
Some Halloween night hoops brought a new rivalry to the Windy City as the Chicago Bulls hosted the new-look Cleveland Cavaliers. Derrick Rose, who led the way for the Bulls with 20 points, left the game with an ankle injury at the start of the 4th. Kirk Heinrich and Aaron Brooks added 31 combined points to pick up the slack. The Cavs were down by 5 in the last minute but rallied to force overtime. In OT, though, it was all LeBron who led the way, scoring 8 of his 36 points. The Cavs went on to win the game in OT 114-108. The X factor for Cleveland was Canadian forward Tristan Thompson, who's in a contract year. He grabbed a franchise record 12 offensive rebounds against Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, and Pau Gasol. Unreal. David Blatt also picked up his first win as an NBA head coach.
More bad news for the Oklahoma City Thunder, as Russell Westbrook will be out 4 weeks with a broken hand. The injury occurred when he collided with teammate Kendrick Perkins when they were going for a rebound. With Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook out, it'll be interesting to see if the Thunder can stay afloat using their new young nucleus. If you're looking for a player to pick up in Westbrook's stead in fantasy basketball, Perry Jones would be a great addition. He's owned in only 27% of all leagues.
Some games to look forward to this weekend are when LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers visit the Rose Garden to take on LaMarcus Aldridge's Portland Trailblazers on Tuesday night. It'll be a game filled with some fun matchups. Kyrie Irving versus Damian Lillard, Dion Waiters versus Wes Matthews, LeBron James versus Nicolas Batum, Kevin Love versus LaMarcus Aldridge, and the Battle of the Afros at center between Anderson Varejao and Robin Lopez.
Then, number 2 overall selection in this past year's draft by the Milwaukee Bucks, Jabari Parker faces off against his boyhood team, the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have suffered a slew of injuries to key positions this year, as Taj Gibson, Derrick Rose, and Joakim Noah have been put on a minutes restriction. Then on our Thursday night matchup, we'll feature the NBA defending champion San Antonio Spurs taking on the Houston Rockets at the Toyota Center in Houston. This should be a good one.
Well, I'll be getting my hoops filled this week. Love having the NBA back. Woo! Now, for the CBG show, I'm Amar Khan.
Chris Brentlinger Grant.
See you later, boys and girls.
Shout out Young Lean.